Fan Toys showed us some final colored images of their Fan Toys FT-24 Rouge, which is their masterpiece scale RC.
Hmm.
And I'll admit, looks pretty darn good. Looks pretty darn good. I mean, there's nothing really super new that we didn't already know from the grayscales that were shown. But I mean, now that we could see like her shades, like her little extra shades that she had from the one scene in the '86 movie, her posability is pretty darn good. It's a classic case, like I said. You have a character that's been done so many times through official and third party sources that sooner or later you just got to perfect it.
Yeah.
So, and it really shows that they've really perfected that Sakamoto Legends Generations mold, added extra pins and everything to it to give it a lot more articulation. She scales great with everybody, like the Autobot cars and everything that have been created thus far from Masterpiece and some of Fan Toys' stuff. The only thing that she doesn't scale well with, and I feel is a problem, is she's a little short compared to Springer.
Hmm.
And I always kind of saw Springer as being maybe just slightly taller than the others, like Cup and Hot Rod and stuff. But I never imagined Springer being super massively huge. And considering how RC and Springer have a connection later in the Transformer series, for her to be so tiny compared to him is kind of weird. And it's not a detriment to Rouge, it's more towards the Springer toy being so big compared to the others. And
Yeah.
in the Rouge photo shoot, there's pictures of her with the coming Hot Rod figure Hoodlum. So it shows how her scale is going to work with Hoodlum and stuff, and it works fine. She comes with a bunch of multiple faces, four to be exact, a different chest piece,
Yeah.
which I'm pretty sure is I'm not too sure the reasoning behind it because they're showing some photos of the differences, but I think it's more just
A
um,
bigger chest. I
no,
think that's
I think it's actually it's one of two things. I think it's either to achieve a better car mode, like
Mhm.
when it's in car mode, that the chest looks nicer. But then there's other photos where it shows to just make it look more rounder.
Right.
Like there's, I guess because some scenes of season 3 in the '86 movie, she had a more square kind of chest, whether it was more angular, her breasts, where others it was more rounded.
Right.
And so, I mean, and again, in the shots, you could see how the cut of the breast area is more rounded, and in other shots, it's more straight and angular. So
Right.
I think that that's another reason why that extra piece is included. So, you could get your episode so and so or your episode so and so. She comes
Right.
with two guns. She comes with an oversized gun that kind of came with the Generations toy, but also is very reminiscent of that of the '86 movie of what she used when she was inside Unicron. And then she comes with something that's more similar to a sniper rifle, which I don't really recall where that comes from, but I could be wrong. If you could leave comments below, maybe it's something from the
I
IDW
wouldn't
version.
call it a sniper. I'll call it like a regular M16, like
Okay.
like a regular rifle, like a regular machine gun rifle kind of thing. Um, what was that war again? You would see it a lot in Vietnam War kind of stuff.
Okay.
That's what it's looking like to me.
But otherwise, her articulation is incredible in robot mode, as it should be for a character of that kind of body type, where body language really emotes the character. And
The
so,
I find the way they have her standing with her hands on her hips is like definitely like Japanese pinup girl, I guess, or like if they're in a swimsuit thing and they put the hand on the hips kind of
yeah,
thing.
well,
Like it
that's
looks,
the campaign girl slash racer
yeah, exactly.
racer girl kind of pose. But she has quite a few of those. The one with Springer that she has her hand behind her head in another kind of pin-up girl swimsuit kind of pose. There's one shot where she's just leaning on some energon cubes and
Yeah,
has again her hand across her mouth. A lot of
a lot,
pin-up poses are being achieved immaculately with this,
and I
and
want
I'm
to say
very
also, her thigh swivel is like real, like she has like a thigh swivel, then like right above the knee. I think there's one as well, maybe.
Well, and
I
that's
don't know.
something
It's a lot. It's
that's something
busy
that's
on her
really good
legs.
too, because the original RC design by Flair O'Deary had a lot of those lines anyways.
Hmm.
So by it being there, it's not something that's an ugly aesthetic. That is something that was present in the original design. I think it looks great. My only thing is just I love it. It looks great, but I just have this sinking feeling that Hasbro's going to do something. But I'll say this right now, if it's going to be like in the case where I waited for Hasbro to do a hot rod, it wasn't impressive, MP28.
Uh-huh.
I don't, and I'm totally looking forward to Hoodlum coming up. This is something that if what I'll do is when this thing comes out, I'm going to avoid it, but if and when the actual RC one does get revealed or something, if it looks crap, then I'll go back. You
I
know, I'm
I don't
pretty
know. Like it's like to me, it's like Hasbro already did two good ones: the Transformers animated one, and then the Generations one.
I honestly think she's due. I think RC sooner or later is
Yeah.
due to get a masterpiece toy. If we're not going to be getting Beast Wars toys, and it looks like we're almost near the end of the larger Autobot cars from
Right.
'84 and '85, I honestly think she's someone even before that of a cup that is due to get a masterpiece toy. And I only hope that Hasbro does just as good a job as Fans Toys does here because she looks great. Like
Yeah.
the articulation is so good that I'm almost worried that Takara won't even go to this level. Like
Like
it's I mean every single shot, her holding Daniel, her on with the Energon cubes, her alone, her like just talking to Wheelie and herself literally. Um,
like for me, it looks awesome. It looks amazing. I think the only thing I would gripe about is that opening between her chest plate and the back,
Yeah,
where the
there
wheels
is a bit
hide.
of a gap. I wonder if that's something that maybe could get fixed if there was a little bit of plastic shaved down. Maybe it's just early problems. And the one good thing at least with third party is they're a lot more
They
open
could
to
change.
communication with the
Yeah.
fans. So I'm pretty sure you weren't the first one to probably mention that in one of multiple threads and conversations. So I'm pretty sure if they get word of that, they're probably going to look into it to just make the most perfect masterpiece esque RC because this thing looks great. This thing looks
Hmm.
really great to the point that it's making me like worried that maybe I might have to break my, wait for Hasbro to do it rule or Takara to do it rule because I can't see them
Uh-huh.
going this balls to the wall. There's just so much going on here. And again, I look at what's happening with Sunstreaker that's coming out, and I'm super impressed and everything. So that's what still keeps me from not pulling the trigger on this
Hmm.
because I see Sunstreaker with the multiple faces and the included chip chase and everything and going like okay they're making an effort, maybe they'll put a crazy amount of effort in joints and blow this one right out of the water because right now this thing looks incredible. It looked
Right.
like I couldn't imagine, like I can't even tell you how much better this could be, like what I would do to make this better because I mean aside from that little gap that you mentioned, which I hope is probably only the reason that exists because of the chest swap gimmick. Maybe
Hmm.
that's why it's like that. But aside from that, I mean, the colors are dead on. The silhouette is dead on. It hides its kibble extremely well to still turn into a car.
Yeah.
It folds up very good on the back there. It does millions of feminine poses that you would have never expected um, to be able to pull off. So it just does a great job at being that classic RC character that we know. And
Like like
uh,
if this was showed off at a convention, I would expect. Remember that boy that we saw at BotCon that was
yeah,
super hyped over
over Cosmos,
no, not Cosmos, over
Skylinks.
Skylinks.
Yeah.
This is what he should be hyped over. This is
Well,
what he should be like. Yes, we did it. We did it. Masterpiece. RC hugs mom. Tears are falling. Everyone is praising the sky. That's what should happen on this one.
well, especially with this too. Um, what's great is it just it's something that with its success for fan toys Afterwards, the obvious repaints are so easy. There's Paradon Medic, which is the more teal repaint. That's
Right.
definitely going to be. I would not be surprised that'll be a convention exclusive. Maybe TFCon. I'm not saying anything, but
Uh huh.
maybe a TFCon exclusive. Maybe a Hong Kong, convention kind of exclusive thing. Or alternatively, this mold has been a Nightbird at this point. So it's the same thing. You could easily put a new head sculpt, give a few new weapons, and
Change
so
the
this is a
colors.
mold too that has mileage. So it's
Right.
another reason also that if needed, from both a Takara standpoint and from a third party standpoint, it's worth investing in. Where again, I love Hot Rod, but every time you do a Hot Rod toy, you're kind of limited by what you could repaint it into. You could pretty
Mm-hmm.
much, like, again, we're getting the Target Masterpiece Hot Rod, which is very little change from the actual Masterpiece Hot Rod.
Hmm.
And then we're probably going to get a black repaint maybe at some point, and then that's it. Where this one RC, there's a lot more. There's a lot of things you could do with this with a lot of retooling and have a lot of fun with it. So I'm really impressed. I'm really happy with it. It's making me break my rule with obvious characters that will get toys, but it's just because I'm going like, man, can Hasbro go this far? Because if Hasbro and Takara do, then I'll shut up so fast. But
Well, it seems like also what we said before that how third parties going right now, they're doing all we're gonna do all the stuff that they're going to do. Like they have some kind of weird leak,
oh
you
no,
know.
there's someone on the inside for sure. The only thing that I'm curious about, and I can't find it in any of the news or anything. I'm curious what her price is. I'm kind of curious what this.
I'm on TF Source. I'm seeing 104.99.
$104. That's
$104.
not
Oh,
terrible actually.
$105.
That's actually not
$105 to be
that
round up.
bad. And,
American.
considering that that's something I could also see, the classic case of people buying it and then they resell it privately and it ends up
Yeah.
being a little cheaper because it's been opened.
Mhm.
I mean the general Autobot cars like Hot Rod and Sideswipe and them, they were in that $60 to $70 range. So an extra $30 more and you get your Fembot. I dig it.
Yeah.
I could get behind that. Again, when third party toys hover more towards that $100 region and they don't go too crazy beyond that, that's
Mhm.
something I could more lean towards. It's
Yeah.
more the third party stuff that's in that $200 $300 range. That's where I'm starting to go like, man, there's so many official Transformers I rather buy in that $200 $300 range. I would definitely feel a lot better about owning. Not to mention, like, I mean, if you told me like, Gal Geiger or again, Star Saber, like official, like there's so many that 200 and 300 bucks would get me, that would make me so much more proud for years to come
Right.
without any kind of retail regret. But I mean, I dig this. This looks great, and that's again my hesitation is just settling in so much with this because of what could come. But I mean, at the same time, it's just the internal rumblings of, can Takara do what Fan Toys has done here?